welcome to my channel. The channel is Corrie Edit Queen. My channel up till now had basically been along the lines of funny edits, sad videos, a lot of them AI generated. I just wanted to try something a little bit different today to see how well you guys take it. So it's going to be one of them conversations that a lot of people do not have. It is domestic violence. So if that isn't your thing and you've been in that situation, it may help you, it may not, but if it's not your sort of thing, just skip this video entirely. So years and years and years ago, we're talking back in 94, I think, I met about a man that I worked with, that I started dating. Everything was fine. We used to work together. We got on like a house on fire. We moved in together. That's when things started to sort of go downhill. What started off as a loving relationship soon turned to a controlling relationship. We worked in the same place, which was a factory, and he decided that he no longer wanted me to work in the factory with all the other men. Me being young and thinking that that's great, a man doesn't want me to work, I won't work. I will stay at home and be a kept woman. So that's what I did. But it wasn't all it cracked up to be, because he sort of started with the controlling. Every time we went out, I had to not look at any other man. I had to basically keep my eyes to the floor. I persevered and thought, right, is this how relationships are supposed to be? I will persevere. I'm living with this man. I love the bones of this man. He's just wanting me and me to himself. But no, that's not how things should be. So further on in the relationship, we was living together, and we moved to a shared house, which was basically a massive, great big sort of, I don't know, Victorian or Tudor house, which was made into 4 or 5 flats, studio flats. So one night we had a slight disagreement, and I went to bed early, and I'm sitting in bed watching telly. He came in, he was in a mood basically, and he took it out on me, and I told him where to go because he was taking it out on me and I wasn't going to have it. Long story short, at that one, he grabbed hold of me by my hair, pulled me off the bed, dragged me out of the bedroom, out into the hallway of the flat, and pulled me out of the property itself and locked the door. I couldn't get back in because obviously I'd been dragged out by my hair. I didn't have no key, I didn't have anything. I did pick up a brick to chuck through the window, but I thought I better not, because obviously it's a rented property. So I walked the streets, I went to my mum's, I explained to her what happened, and I stayed there. Within a few days, he was on the phone wanting to speak to me, and my mum wasn't happy, but she let me speak to him, and he wanted me to go round to see if we could sort it out. I did go round, but I also, due to the fact that he dragged me out of the bed and out into the street, the force of me being dragged off of the bed onto a concrete floor, I landed up with bruises all the way from my hips, well, not my hips, my hip on the right side, all the way down to my ankles, so it's purple. So when I went round to meet him to try and find out what he had to say for himself, and to show him what he had done, so I made a point of wearing a skirt with no tights on. So I went round there and I was talking to him. Excuse me, got something in my eye. So I was talking to him, and he said to me, he looked down my leg and he said, "Did I do that?" And I said, "Yes, You did that. It's when you dragged me off the bed, onto the floor. And he apologised profusely. And we agreed that we would chalk it up to experience, and I agreed to go back to him. My mum wasn't happy. I went back and I told her what happened, and she said, you shouldn't go back, things are going to happen worse. And I'm like, no, he's promised that it would never ever happen again. And I was wrong, she was right. So I went back, basically. We then moved into another flat, which was down the road to where my mum lived. There was yet another disagreement. So this time we was in a 2-bedroom flat. I decided I was going to move into the spare room for the night. We'd only moved into that flat, I think it's about a month prior. So there were still all bits and pieces all in the room. I had to move so I could actually get the bed out and sleep in that room while he slept in our room. He came into the room again, really angry. What the F are you doing? And I was like, I want to sleep on my own tonight, so I'm going to sleep here. That was it. He literally hit the ceiling. So he grabbed me by my arms, slammed me into the door frame, and pinned me up against the door frame. He was basically shouting in my face. I couldn't move because he had me pinned up against the door frame by my arms. When I did try and move, what happened was I had long hair like I have now. He basically grabbed hold of me by my hair, slammed my head onto the door frame by my hair, headbutted me in the face. The force of him slamming my head against the door frame split my head open, so I was pouring blood all the way down my back and all over the door frame and everywhere. And where he headbutted me in the face, he broke my nose. Not only to add insult to injury, he decided that he wanted to push me right across the room. So he pushed me right across the room, and in that room I had a large 4-foot cabinet fish tank. I slammed my back up against the fish tank. So when I eventually got to my feet, he was blocking the doorway. I couldn't physically get out of the doorway. So he tried to go for me again. So I basically I slapped him around the face, and that was it. I was used as a punch bag. When he eventually did give up, I got off my feet again, and I managed to, because he went into the living room just to go and sit down, as you do, after you just beaten some bells out of somebody, to go and watch TV. So I managed to actually get myself together. I grabbed my bag, and the flat I was in at the time, it had 2 hallways. So there was like one hallway, then there was a door, then there was another hallway to go out of the front door. So I managed to get myself all the way up the first hallway. I was leaning against the wall, so there was blood, a trail of blood from the room that he was beating me in, all the way up on the walls where I'd leaned, because obviously I was trying to wipe the blood because I couldn't see. There was blood pouring down my back, there was blood pouring down my face. It was on the walls, it was on the radiators. I got out of that door, then I managed to actually get out of the second door, and I was going to go to my mum's, but going to my mum's, I would literally have had to have walked up 10 minutes up the road, and I couldn't do it. So I was we lived on the 14th floor out of a block of 15. So what happened was I went down in the lift. Luckily nobody else got in the lift. There was blood all over the lift. When I came out the lift, I actually knocked on the caretaker's door, and I said to her, could you help me? She thought what happened, because she saw the blood coming from the lift, I'd been attacked in the lift. So I actually said to her, no, I've not been attacked in the lift. My partner has just attacked me in the flat. Can you phone the police and an ambulance? So she phoned the police and the ambulance for me. Then she phoned my mum, because my mum was literally a few minutes up the road. So while we was waiting on the ambulance and the police to come, she was trying to clean me up because there was blood dripping all over the place. My mum got there first. I explained to my mum what's happened. She thought that he'd hit me in the face because my eyes are black, and I said no, he didn't hit me in the face, it's my eye makeup that has run. So an ambulance arrived, the police arrived, the police came into the caretaker's room. I explained what happened. They said to me, is he still in the flat? And I said, well, far as I know, yes, he is still in the flat. They said, do you have a door key so we can go up and speak to him and arrest him? So I gave the police, which was two really big policemen, the door key. They went upstairs to arrest him. The ambulance staff come, the paramedics. I was blue lighted to hospital with my mum, because obviously I had severe concussion. I had a split headache. I had a split headache from concussion. I had handprints all over my body, bruises all over my body, a broken nose, a split lip, and I was taken to hospital, and I had to undergo loads of tests, scans, x-rays, and go through lots of stuff with the hospital, what had happened, how it happened, and all stuff like that. He was arrested and taken to jail. While I was in the hospital, obviously they wanted to keep me in because I had severe concussion, because I could barely stay awake, and I was bleeding and I was shaking, so they just wanted to keep me in. But I didn't want to stay in. The sheer fact that I had pet rats, and I knew that he'd been arrested and he would be let out, and he was the type of person that would have gone home and slaughtered my pet rats. So I said I will discharge myself, and they said to my mum, as long as she goes home with you and you keep a really good eye on her, because she has got severe concussion and we do not want her to leave the hospital, but we can't force her to leave. And my mum agreed. She tried to talk me out of it, but I didn't want to stay, because I do not want my pet rats slaughtered, all because he had the ump with me. Because of this, the police were in and out of the hospital to check if I was okay, but to add insult to injury, because I decided that I was going to discharge myself from hospital, I was arrested from the hospital. From A&E, so as soon as I come out of A&E, there was police waiting for me. They arrested me, they handcuffed me in the middle of A&E, and they said, I'm really sorry, but we have got to arrest you for assault. And while I was in the police car being taken to the police station, they said the reason you was arrested because he wants to press charges because you slapped him around the face. So when I got to the police station, I was booked in with the custody sergeant. They said to me, what's going to happen is you're going to have to go to the cells. We do understand you've got concussion. We need to keep a good eye on you. You're only going to the cells because we need to interview your partner first to find out what he's got to say for himself. But then we will interview you after. So they interviewed him, they bailed him out, and he wasn't allowed to go back to the flat, our joint flat, until 11 p.m. that night. So in my interview with the police, they explained what's happened. They said he wants to press charges because he said I smacked him around the face, and I said to the police, Yes, I smacked him around the face. He had just broken my nose. He had just smashed my head on the door. I was bleeding everywhere. He headbutted me in the face, which broke my nose, so I automatically slapped him around the face. Then he laid into me and kicked me across the room, and that was basically it. And they said, well, what's going to happen is we have bailed him. He is not allowed back to the property until 10 at night, 11 at night, sorry. We will, obviously, we're going to let you out, and it's going to be down to the custody sergeant at the time if any charges will be taken against him for beating me up and for me for slapping him. And they did say that I had to go back the following day to the police station because they wanted photos of all the injuries and stuff like that to use in the case when it goes to court, if it goes to court. So a week later I had to go into the police station to find out if it was going to go to court, and no, it wasn't going to go to court. I asked, why is it not going to go to court? And they said basically because it's a first offence, you've both gone your separate ways and you didn't report the first incident. If you had reported the first incident, then more likely would have charged him the second incident. So that was on me that he got away with it. I actually had a solicitor, and the solicitor actually said that we wanted to take it to court privately. They said because the police will not back you, you will not get, it just will not go to court. You will not win it. It is just count your losses and leave each other, basically. So that's what happened. I did have to have an injunction out to stop him from contacting me or my mum. But yeah, so if anyone is in that situation, and any man or female, for men, if your partner lays your hand on you once, walk. Take it from me, from somebody who didn't walk. There can always be something else that's gonna happen for the second time. 9 times out of 10 people will say it's never gonna happen again, it's never gonna happen again. I got that, it's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen again. But it did happen again for the second time, and it put me in hospital. So that's just a little insight on a little bit of my what's gone on in my life previously. I'm now in a really good relationship with my partner. He is really good. He would never lay a hand on me, and I know he wouldn't. He's a completely different person. He's very protected over me, and he does know that what's gone on previously, and he also knows that it does have a knock-on effect. Sometimes when we're messing around, there are triggers, and I will back away because of it. But so anyone in the situation that I was in, if you ever need anybody, you're still in that situation and you can't get away, you're welcome to message me. Send me a message on YouTube, and I will give you my number and we can talk. So just reach out, and if you can, always walk away. But yeah, so I hope that's helpful to anybody, and this was a help for you guys. And I'm sorry it's not my normal sort of videos. I just wanted to give this a try, and thank you for listening, and take care everybody, and I shall catch you soon.